reigning All-Ireland champions are going to line up. It's a 101st league appearance for legendary goalkeeper Stephen Cluxton. He kept a clean sheet against Mayo to mark his milestone match 2 weeks ago. One late change in the Dublin defence. Number 17, Shane Carthy from St Vincent's, replaces James McCarthy in that half-back line. It's a first start of the year for Cian O'Sullivan beside him, while up front there's another change in that full forward line as the rotation policy continues. Paddy Andrews and Colin Baskell come in to wear 13 and 15. Kerry have made 3 changes to the team that lost to Galway. Goalkeeper Shane Murphy from the All-Ireland Club champions Dr Crokes is recalled, and he captains Kerry from number 1. The defence is left untouched. Jason Foley and Peter Crowley again manning the central positions. Jack Barry and Barry O'Sullivan also left to work together on their blossoming partnership in the middle of the field. But Eamon Fitzmaurice has tinkered with his attack. Adrian Spillane and Kevin McCarthy both come in on the left-hand side of the forward line. So it's Kerry against Dublin, the league champions against...
Time for Dublin on the back foot.
So almost time to find out if Kerry, the reigning Division 1 champions, can ambush the Dubs again, or will the All-Ireland champions continue this relentless march towards a 5th league title in 6 years. We're off and running. It's second place Dublin against 4th placed Kerry. Galway having moved to the summit of Division 1 courtesy of their win earlier on this afternoon against Monaghan. And it will be Kerry in this first half attacking the goal away to our right-hand side. Here's an early shooting chance for Brian O'Biegliach, who joins the attack and sees that shot drift across the face of goal and wide.
Yeah, a good start by Kerry. Kieran Kilkenny is operating in the full forward position, and Paul Murphy looks like he's going to go back there and do a man-marking job on him.
So Stephen Cluxton on the ball for Dublin. Hit that 100th league appearance milestone a couple of weeks ago against Mayo. As John Small gets a touch. Dublin trying to hold possession. Johnny Cooper. Again, he'll be expected to job share in that Dublin backline. Tends to sweep at times, tends to get forward when he can. Good pressure by Kerry here, though, and a chance for them to keep the pressure on.
That's exactly it. They're pressing high up the field.
Nice delivery from Burns to Clifford. First chance for the boy wonder to show what he can do. And absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's his first time back at Croke Park to play since winning a minor medal here last September. And that was really nicely done.
Yeah, he reads the flight of the ball really well coming in. Gets up, gets solid hand on it, and is no doubt of what he's going to do with it. Slots it over with that cultured left foot. Dublin get the game moving quickly, and Cooper pops up now on this left-hand side looking for the run of Paddy Andrews, but he was being shadowed across there by Ronan Shanahan. Kerry looking to avoid a 3rd straight defeat here, having been turned over by Monaghan and Galway in the last 2 rounds, and that's careless by Crowley, and a chance for Paddy Andrews to take on his man. Heading towards the edge of the D, works out kindly for Fenton. Ball half blocked away by Jack Barry, but recycled by Dublin, and they'll start all over again. Macaulay returns the pass to Brian Howard. Rock makes a break, looking to just dish it back into the path of Baskell. Instead it was Kilkenny. He finds Baskell, trying to get a clear shot at goal, force wide, but he makes light of the challenges and clips over the equaliser. Yeah, Kilkenny the key there. He finds a bit of space back in the pocket and sees Baskell. Lovely right-footed pass right into his stride. Good defending initially by Enright to keep him out for the kick, take the goal chance away, but a good finish by Baskell.
Shane Murphy trying to be pinpoint with the restart, manages to locate Jack Barry, and Kerry have that primary possession. Ball just bouncing awkwardly off the shins of Sean O'Shea. His first appearance here since captaining Kerry to a minor title back in 2016, as Peter Crowley creeps forward, spraying it over towards Kevin McCarthy, but too much pace on it. Croke Park, as always, playing quick on a lovely day for a game here in Dublin.
Yeah, a poor execution there by Peter Crowley, but a good start by Clifford, we've seen at the point, and another key man for Kerry and Jack Barry, and he won that kick out really well under severe pressure from Brian Clinton.
Dublin let the ball do the work, and Dean Rock again beats Foley to the ball. Dangerous delivery. Racing in after it was Shane Carthy, and he very nearly got there, but good goalkeeping by Shane Murphy, who left his line smartly and dealt with the danger.
Very diligent defending by Adrian Spillane to track the runner all the way, and he did just enough.
Lovely ball by O'Shea, leaves it right in front of Gainey, just the way he wants it. He's got support inside for McCarthy, and Cluxton has to fly through the air to push it up and over. McCarthy back in the team, back on the score sheet.
Yeah, good hand pass by Gainey into space. McCarthy hits it hard, and Cluxton deals with it. Good score for Kerry.
Well, Kevin McCarthy's brother Mike was a teak tough fullback, won his All-Ireland medals back in the noughties with Kerry. His younger brother has just nudged the visitors here back into the lead. But it's been a very bright and open first 4.5 minutes.
When both teams approach the game in the way they have, where they're pressing high up the field, lots of man-on-man defending, you're going to have opportunities for scoring chances in front of the goal, opportunities to play good ball into the full forward line, and that's what's going to lead to an open game and something that'll be enjoyable to watch.
Good defensive work there by Jason Foley, and Kerry are on the front foot. Paul Gainey, again, he's drifted out the field. Johnny Cooper trying to make up the lost ground. Gainey doesn't need to break stride and pops it up and over on the run, and Kerry ease 2 ahead.
Yeah, good start for Kerry. Again, each one of their men in the full forward line have got a score from play. That's exactly what they want. It's the strength of their team.
Paul Gainey scored 8 points here against Dublin in the league final last year. He's up and running inside the first 6 minutes. Shane Carthy allowed to travel, looking to thread it through for Rock. Intercepted by Brian O'Biagliac, and here he is again. Support from Paul Murphy. Such a dynamic defender. Clifford times his run. He's being picked up by Cian O'Sullivan, trying to hold him off. He's got the power to do that. Cluxton leaves his line and gets up above McCarthy. A good strong fist to knock it clear, and Lowndes transfers it smartly to Kilkenny. Dublin neat and tidy with how they dealt with that Kerry attack, and now it's Kerry's turn to set their backline.
Decisive goalkeeping by Cluxton, as we've seen so often. Probably the key element in this game will be Kerry, how they deal with Dublin having long periods of possession. Dublin have shown themselves to be extremely patient in the league campaign so far, and particularly with the way Kerry have started, they'll be looking to take a bit of a sting out of this Kerry start.
Shane Carthy, he's been involved quite a bit in these first few minutes. In case you joined us late, Shane Carthy starting in place of the absent James McCarthy, who's not in the Dublin squad. Pascal just fouled there as he tried to deliver the hand pass. Kieran Brannigan not allowing an advantage, and this will present Dean Rock with his first shot at goal.
Jack Barry tracking the runner, and as Pascal's trying to get away, he gets a hand in there and makes contact. It's soft enough, really.
Just reflecting back on that goal chance a little earlier for Kevin McCarthy, Kerry haven't scored a goal in more than 3 hours in this Allianz League campaign. Didn't hit the net against Galway or Monaghan. And it took a fine save from Cluxton to deny McCarthy. Now down at the other end, Rock hit 6 points in a man of the match display against Mayo last time out. Hooks that one though just wide on his own side into the hill, and there is a breeze swirling around Croke Park, and that time it just played havoc with Rock's effort.
The quality of his free taking is so high, you're always surprised when he misses one, and that is definitely one that he would have expected to take.
Murphy just leaving that into the path of Brian O'Biagliac, and Kerry are away. Lovely ball by McCarthy. Clifford popped back to O'Shea, and the 3 newcomers in this Kerry forward line linking up neatly, and the finish was inch perfect from the new number 11, Sean O'Shea.
Absolutely fantastic football there, all the way from the goalkeeper Shane Murphy with an exceptional kick, then a beautiful crossfield pass into Clifford's path, and the quick hand pass to Sean O'Shea, and he was never going to miss from there.
He's only 19, the Kerry centre forward, Sean O'Shea, but learning his trade very quickly this spring. And now Kerry have a 3-point cushion and have settled in quite nicely. Hot ball here as Michael Darragh Macaulay jostles for position with Barry O'Sullivan.
Kerry are leaving a lot of forwards high up the field, and that normally doesn't suit other teams as they struggle to create pace. But Kerry's the intelligence of their forwards is such, and their movement is so good that they do create those opportunities.
Good hassling and harrying there by Barry O'Sullivan and Sean O'Shea, and Kerry have got the ball back. Here's Micheál Burns from the Dr. Crokes club in Killarney, back in Croke Park again, where he won an All-Ireland club medal last March. Clifford moves across to the left wing, so stylish, trying to hurl it inside that near post, just drifts on the wind and away and wide.
Stephen Cluxton gets the ball away quickly, but it's Cian O'Sullivan is the man tasked with Marin Mark and David Clifford, and he's usually more often finds himself in that sweeper position where you don't find yourself in as many one-on-one situations, so he's going to have a very busy afternoon by the looks of the early runnings.
Man trying to stretch the Kerry backline here is Shane Carthy. Again, Dublin go long and direct and dealt with in there by Ronan Shanahan.
Time back. We're done, mate.
Dublin just trying to keep that Kerry backline guessing. Carthy, it was looking for Rock or Andrews. Instead, it's Kerry who break down this Hogan stand side with Micheál Burns, who switched wings again. Man making a run inside is Sean O'Shea, just beyond him. Couldn't get there, and that will go down as a missed opportunity for Kerry. But they have settled very quickly, Billy Joe, and they look very comfortable.
Yeah. Really good start by Kerry. They've pressed high up the field, they've moved the ball particularly well, their skill level has been high, they've put pressure on Dublin, and that's the absolute key to it. They've put pressure and forced Dublin into a couple of handling errors and some mistakes and turnovers, and that's what you need to do when you're playing against Dublin, and you don't get those scores on the board when the chances arrive. But also, you know, Adrian Spillane tracked a runner early on a couple of minutes ago. Jason Foley knocked the ball down to Ronan Shanahan there in front of the goals. You have to defend really well, and so far they've done that.
Kerry right now just leaving David Clifford in the Dublin half of the field. Everybody else manning a defensive position as Colin Pascal lays it off to Small. Peter Crowley sitting in as a sweeper in front of the Dublin full forward line, forcing Pascal to take the scenic route. Links with Cooper as the Dublin supporters up on Hill 16 find their voice for the first time, encouraging their team to keep pressing forward, but they have no option here but to recycle and go backwards. And now David Byrne sees a little gap and drives right through. Here's Cooper looking to lay it into the path of Andrews, who's made his break to that right corner. Kilkenny demands it, gets it and finishes as well. Patient and precise from Dublin, and Kieran Kilkenny with the score.
Yeah, Andrews working across the line really well, does the right thing, drops it back to Kilkenny, who slots it over. But you said it, Mike, patience, the absolute key. Dublin are the most patient team in the country. They don't mind having to go back 30 yards. They know they can recycle and maybe travel up the other way. Really good football from Dublin.
Kieran Kilkenny, his 13th consecutive start for the Dubs today. He is a linchpin in that half-forward line. Leaves it double scores. Kerry break quickly. The shot from Gainey, who curses his luck as that shot flies away to the right and wide. They're two in front. They should be further ahead.
Possibly. I think they'll be very happy with the start they've made so far. They've, for the most part, been able to keep Dublin at arm's length, but possession is absolutely key. You saw from that last Dublin possession that they held on to the ball for a long period of time and still created that scoring opportunity. Kerry need to be able to do that also when the opportunity arises.
Stephen Cluxton found Macaulay with the initial kick out. Now he's got the ball back in his hands again. Johnny Cooper left all alone, happy to take the pass and deliver it as quickly as he can to Kilkenny. Spins away from Paul Murphy. Murphy, though, is extremely quick, trying to make up the ground. Kilkenny takes aim and fires it over the bar. 2 for Kilkenny, 3 for Dublin, and they're right back in it again.
Yeah, Paul Murphy, Marshall and Kieran Kinney all over the field, but you see the quality that Kinney has there, whether it's in close to goal, whether it's out the field, whether it's in his own half. He invariably does the right thing, drives hard with the ball, turns to his right, creates the angle for himself, and a confident finish.
He hit 2 points the last day out against Mayo, and that's 2 for him here inside the first 14 minutes. Shane Murphy goes long, down the middle, tapped down by Fenton to his midfield partner Macaulay, and there's a buzz around the ground as Macaulay drives forward. Pass is on, and he finds his man, and Rock spins and shoots it across the face of goal and wide. Well, there was an expectant intake of breath there from the Dublin supporters behind the hill as Rock turned and tried to clip it over and just missed.
Yeah, Jason Foley allowed Dean Rock inside him there, but good goalkeeping by Shane Murphy. He was decisive, came out, closed down the angle and put Rock under pressure, and he couldn't finish.
Peter Crowley did really well to keep that in Kerry hands. He's managed to scoop it back to Ronan Shanahan. Dublin trying to pin Kerry in here. Loose man is Adrian Spillane. His father Tom won 4 All-Ireland senior medals with Kerry. Nice ball to pick out Clifford. Again, he's manoeuvred himself out in front of Cian O'Sullivan, and again the finish is clinical. 2 for David Clifford, and Kerry restore their 2-point lead.
Yeah, Cian O'Sullivan just didn't get close enough there. A really good pass by Adrian Spillane, put it on the right side of Clifford, allowed him to move into that space, and you're just going to see an awful lot of that in the future, of David Clifford turning onto his left foot, and it's ended up going over the bar. Real quality left foot.
David Byrne again joining the Dublin attack. Macaulay. Kieran Kilkenny has made a break for him inside. Macaulay hangs on to it. He's got Barry O'Sullivan for company. Looked like Macaulay had done the hard part there, and he's refusing to give up on it, and he's won himself a free. Well, his persistence paid off. Looked like he'd lost that ball once or twice as he drove forward, but kept on keeping on and gets the free.
I think that's where the initial foul might have been on the first movement, but when he loses it here, I wasn't so sure that there was a foul. It looks here if Anthony Macaulay's doing the fouling at that stage, but the referee has that license to allow for play to move on as advantage. So I think initially he's right, Macaulay was fouled.
So Croke Park falls silent as Dean Rock composes himself and gets that scoreboard moving again. Short restart this time from Murphy. And Ronan Shanahan looks up. He's got open road in front of him and he drives on. Clifford again is his go-to man inside. Cooper has moved across to pick him up. Clifford transfers it back to Shanahan. Goal on for Gainey. Oh, he's hit the post. Danger still not cleared, and the follow-up from Kevin McCarthy is put away. Well, Kerry get the point, so close to a goal.
Yeah, Shanahan does really well, spots the inside man. Gainey does well, kind of sidesteps around Tuxon, but doesn't find the right finish. When the ball drops from McCarthy, he does the right thing, doesn't force the goal, takes the point that's on offer.
Dublin, though, on the attack so quickly again. They've fallen 2 behind. Colin Baskell, he's got options left and right. Scully's gone one way, Shane Carthy the other. Instead, it's Paddy Andrews. Broke the first tackle, then ambushed by 2 or 3 Kerry defenders. Kieran Bradigan happy enough to let it develop. Here's Cooper, who comes barreling through, and Johnny Cooper into the hill and over the bar. That's more like it from the All-Ireland champions. Cooper with his first of the day.
Brilliant football from both teams. Real strong, aggressive, tenacious tackling by Kerry. Dublin good enough to manufacture the ball, and then you see the quality of Johnny Cooper. He's after making the run up the field, finds himself on the end of it and slots it over. Brilliant football.
Well, we wondered how Kerry's confidence would be on the back of those defeats against Monaghan and at home to Galway. They have certainly come to play in this first quarter.
and they're out in front as Adrian Spillane hangs on, waits for support, comes from Micheál Burns. Wrapped up though by Eric Lowndes and fouled, and Kerry will get the free in.
Burns steps inside. Eric Lowndes is complaining that Burns was holding on to him, but a good response by Kerry and an opportunity for Clifford to add to his tally.
David Clifford certainly living up to his potential so far. And just as we say, he's given the ball away. Looked like he was shaping up to have a shot at goal, then tried to be too clever. And Sean O'Shea, I think, apologising to Clifford as they got their wires crossed, and away go the Dubs.
Surprising he didn't take the shot on. If there's any breeze that's blowing, it's favouring him.
David Byrne surging forward. This is where Dublin are at their lethal best. Fenton in around the back to Shane Carthy. Murphy leaves his line. Scully scores the goal, just like he did against Mayo. Niall Scully, quickest to react when the ball broke in the square. His second goal of the league as Dublin go from one end to the other in devastating fashion.
Yeah, brilliant by Cooper. Again, good goalkeeping by Shane Murphy coming out, but ghosting in at the back post, as you rightly described, Mike. We've seen it before. Scully, the first to react, pans it into an empty net, and that is a valuable lesson for David Clifford down the other end. You take your score opportunities when they come in freeze against Dublin.
And now all of a sudden, it's Dublin who lead for the first time here at Croke Park. Dean Rock Stadium buzzing now as Cian O'Sullivan comes on the burst on that right wing. Players flooding forward. O'Sullivan looking to find Kilkenny. Pascal just couldn't get it under control initially, and in come the cavalry. 3 Kerry defenders, a 4th as well, but they've thrown the ball. Didn't execute the hand pass the way they should have, and Dublin get the free, but the tide has most certainly turned.
Micheál Burns and John Small involved in the centre of the field. I think Peter Crowley is extremely unlucky to get a free given against him there. I think, on my initial thoughts, it's a poor decision. His arm being held as he's trying to get the ball away, and it appears that the referee has given it as a throw.
Well, everybody watching where the free had been awarded, and then all of a sudden it kicked off out around halfway, but thankfully it died down just as quickly as it started, and the referee happy enough to let everybody off with a rap on the knuckles, and Dublin have that free, and Dean Rock steps up to it.
Frantic period of the game. It's absolutely crucial for Kerry now that they respond in this next kick out. They need possession, they need to get down the far end, and they need to put a halt to this Dublin period of dominance.
Rock leaves this one on the floor, and with the aid of the post guides over Dublin's 6th point. And now that goal from Niall Scully is what separates the teams. Here's the earlier chance at the other end for Kevin McCarthy. Brilliant save by Cluxton, and Gainey so unlucky.
Yeah, Gainey, he rounds the keeper. He actually sidesteps Cluxton really well, and he'll feel that he should have got that. And it's a case of 2 goal chances. Dublin take their other one with Scully palm it in.
Well, now we wait for Kerry's response again. Jack Barry unable to keep that ball in play. But only 4 or 5 minutes ago, Kerry were in front, throwing the ball around with such great confidence. Now where they rattle, what a ball from Gainey to pick out O'Shea. Cluxton's left his goal. He's in no man's land as O'Shea blazes it wide. Well, a glaring miss from Sean O'Shea when Dublin's backline was carved wide open.
An absolutely brilliant ball in first, and Cluxton recognises the quality of the ball and feels he has to come out. O'Shea does the right thing and beat him, but it's a terrible miss, and a real opportunity. And Kerry have missed a couple of real good opportunities already, and they're going to hurt you against Dublin.
Well, it's very rarely Stephen Cluxton leaves his line and doesn't get there. And Sean O'Shea and Kerry unable to make him and Dublin pay. That's now 3 goal chances that have come and gone for Kerry.
And that long wait for a green flag goes on, heading now towards 3.5 hours. But they're getting closer and closer.
And Kerry have to console themselves. Excellent play by Adrian Spillane, but Kerry have to console themselves with the chances they are creating and the quality in their build-up play.
Spillane did really well there to reach in and win that ball, and Clifford is bundled over by Cian O'Sullivan. Well, as everyone knows, he is the next big thing in Kerry football, and he's learned a few tricks these last few weeks. He again got out in front, and as soon as he felt the contact, over he went.
Not only that, he appealed to the referee that he was being held, which is the right thing to do. Let the referee know that you're getting treatment you shouldn't. Clever play. This is an easier free for him to get Kerry back on track.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, the last time he was here was for last September's All-Ireland minor final. Hit 4-4 against Derry. And that's his third of the afternoon. Just gets Kerry's tally up to 7. Keeps them within reach. And a good solid 10 minutes or more to half-time. Cluxton looking for the run of Scully. Beaten to it by O'Bieglia. Great ball to pick out Burns. Cluxton backtracking, and Burns pops it over. And that now means that 5 of Kerry's starting 6 forwards have scored.
Croke Park faithful believe that Scully was fouled earlier. I don't think so. I think Bruno Beglia did really well. That's real tight defending, right up there with Scully, and just wins the ball. I don't see a foul there. He's just close. Good. The type of play you want against Dublin, those one-on-one situations where you're right there with them, ready for the ball to pop out. Good play by O'Beglia.
A few more sparks flying in the middle of the field. That's Peter Crowley and Niall Scully that got tangled up in each other there.
I think the thing that saves it for O'Beglia in that movement was his hands aren't in the tackle. His hands are wide. There's body contact, yes, but it's not with his hands.
Linesman James Birmingham having a quick word with Kieran Brannigan. Well, they are 2 of the heavy hitters in league and championship football, and it's understandable that there will be a bit of niggle there. No love lost, and now it looks like Niall Scully and Peter Crowley will be the first 2 men to get cards.
And Crowley, one of the more experienced and more physical of the Kerry players. He's obviously, you can assume, which is rightly, that Kerry had focused during the week that they weren't going to let this physical juggernaut that Dublin is, overpower them, and they're standing up to it. And I think that's probably one of the things that Fitzmaurice will be really pleased with, the way they've stood up physically to Dublin.
Kerry, of course, are the last team to beat Dublin when it comes to a big game here at Croke Park. Last year's league final saw Eamon Fitzmaurice's team come out on top by a single point. Dublin have stacked up 10 wins in league and championship since then, but they're in a real battle here as off the ball John Small and Sean O'Shea get to grips with each other on the ground. That's what the crowd were reacting to there in the background. But it seems to have sorted itself out, and the game continues with Eric Lowndes picking the ball up here inside the 45. But no doubt about it, Billy Joe, in the last 5 or 10 minutes, things have ramped up a bit.
Kerry are not going to be pushed around. They're not going to allow it. They know that if you're going to come here today or any other day and beat Dublin in Croke Park, they're going to have to stand up physically. And it's one of the key tests of a young footballer, is whether you can stand up, particularly in those early outings. And
just take a moment to acknowledge where Stephen Cluxton is. He's inside the Kerry half, and I think it was sheer frustration as much as anything. He felt he needed to do something, and when it opened up for him there, he just took off, and that gets a reaction from the Dublin crowd. And his teammates down the field are in a good position now to construct an attack. Paddy Andrews.
He also had words with some of his teammates as he ran away. That sends a message to the rest of the Dublin players that they have to up their game.
The Dublin captain leading by example, taking it on, and now watching Shane Carthy. Kerry have clogged up though all the obvious avenues of attack. John Small Cooper. They've thrown 12 or 13 men forward, Dublin. Carthy's shot half blocked. That took the sting out of it. And it's carried clear and fisted clear towards the overlapping fullback. This is Foley. Waits for the arrival of Jack Barry. Just moved up through the gears there to get within sight of the Dublin goal. Clifford. Lots of movement around him. First man to arrive is O'Sullivan. Laid back into the path of Adrian Spillane, who steadies and hits it well wide. Well, it was a lovely build-up from Kerry, but the finish didn't match.
Good pass out of the traffic by Sean O'Shea to find Adrian Spillane. He took the shot on. Could also maybe have just turned and recycled it.
Once more, Cluxton hits that pocket of space in front of Brian Fenton, and this time it works out nicely. Michael Dara McCauley gets his head up quickly, but Paddy Andrews went one way, the ball the other. Easy for Shanahan, and now Burns will let it go long towards Clifford. Tried to nudge Cian O'Sullivan, but O'Sullivan, he's been around the block, knew it was coming, and now he's the man pulling the strings. Kilkenny moving in and out between the full forward line and the half forward line, as is this man, Dean Rock. Takes it, turns, and over it goes. Dublin in full flight, and Rock with a sweet finish.
Lovely football from Dublin, coming from Cillian O'Sullivan coming out. Kieran Kilkenny goes out and wins the ball, and again, as he so often does the right thing, but a lovely sidestep inside by Dean Rock, and a sure finish.
Dean Rock showing he's brought his shooting boots again today. Dublin's leading scorer this spring. Ball touchdown into the path of McCauley. Kilkenny, really good hands to beat Murphy and to guide over his third point, all from play. Kieran Kilkenny, the driving force in that half-forward line. Read McCauley's intentions, and Dublin lead by 3.
Paul Murphy too aggressive, goes for the interception, was never really on. It allows Kilkenny to turn inside, and a good finish for Kilkenny. A couple of scores and a couple of assists already for him.
Jim Gavin changing things up just before half-time. Man who's come in, Paddy Small, brother of John from Ballymun, and Shane Carthy it is who's made way. Yeah, and here is a first touch for Paddy Small, being picked up by Peter Crowley. Had a really good club championship campaign with Ballymun Kickham's last season. Involved in the build-up, the final shot from Paddy Andrews, wide on his own side, still awaiting his first score.
Kerry are struggling when they can't get the kick out away quickly. Dublin have done much better on the long kickouts to the middle of the field. The last score, Kieran Kilkenny score, came from that one where Jack Barry was beaten for a high ball. Kerry've got to be more physical on these longer kickouts.
Shane Murphy only manages to find Brian Fenton, who climbed above Barry O'Sullivan to claim that and claim the mark as well.
It's hard to be more physical when you see excellence like that. Real skywalking there from Fenton. Outstanding, times it perfectly, uses all that power in his lower body to get up high, keeps his eye on the ball as he's coming down. Being fouled as well, excellent play. Black card. He is being pulled to ground, but unnecessarily so, as Fenton already had the ball, but that's a correct decision on the black card, being pulled to the ground after Fenton had collected.
So some quick thinking now for the Kerry management. They need to figure out this problem. Barry O'Sullivan's gone. Dublin not hanging around. Rock, he's got Paddy Andrews inside, but the pass intercepted by Ronan Shanahan. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time, and Kerry got off the hook.
Shane Enright did really well there to put pressure on that pass and allowed it. Poorly executed as a result. Good defended by Shane Enright.
So Barry O'Sullivan, who won an All-Ireland minor medal here a few years ago, his day is done, and it's Éanna O'Crohur who's in for Kerry.
We're into the last couple of minutes of normal time as again off the ball, John Small and Sean O'Shea are wrestling each other to the ground. Paul Ganey tries to finish this Kerry attack with a score, and that's a third missed chance for Ganey. 3 times now he's had an effort at goal, 3 times he's left empty-handed, but the linesman on this near side, you'd imagine, has spotted Small and O'Shea going at it again, and surely there's a card coming.
There's been a few occasions where they've been involved in it, particularly in this area of the field, and I think at this stage the officials probably feel they've no option but to issue yellow cards here and try and keep on top of this.
And it's a black card for the Dublin defender, John Small, for his part in that last incident. And as Billy Joe said, they had been wrestling each other and on the ground quite a bit these last 10-15 minutes, and the Dublin defender called out by the linesman, and he's gone.
But obviously the referee saw something there, or the linesman saw something there that it was quite clear in order to give the black card to...
Now could this be another black card? The Dublin crowd are absolutely incensed. Now the man who was involved in the incident is the Kerry sub who's only just come in.
Did they another look at it here? No, I don't. That's not a black card. The correct decision there is...
Danger here for Kerry. McCauley it was at full stretch, and Shane Murphy got down quickly to make the save. So 2 black cards, 1 for Barry O'Sullivan, 1 for John Small. And suffice to say, this game is coming to the boil nicely. That Niall Scully goal, all that separates the teams in first half stoppage time, as Peter Crowley from Lawn Rangers tries to carry the fight to the Dubs. Coming and offering support is Jack Barry. Turned into traffic, manages to get the kick away somehow. McCarthy beaten in the air by Scully again, who's got a great leap off a standing position, and Cluxton manages to slip that out through the side door, and now Cian O'Sullivan for Dublin.
Frantic play with ball moving from side to side. It's opportunities for counter-attacks. Dublin with more experience, using the ball really well. Kieran Kilkenny, the cool head out in the field, and the outstanding performer in this first half.
Well, the referee, Kieran Brannigan, blows the half-time whistle with Niall Scully trying to start another attack. But time for everybody to catch their breath after a very frantic first half. We knew it would be tight and tense. It's been that and so much more. The All-Ireland champions Dublin take the lead with them to the dressing rooms at half-time, but the league champions Kerry right in this. It's Dublin 1-8, Kerry 8 points. We'll be back with analysis of that first half. They are more than capable of putting it up to the reigning All-Ireland champions. But just to remind you, Kerry tearing into this second half without both Sean O'Shea and Paul Ganey, both replaced at half-time. It's Barry John Keane and Michael Ganey who have joined the Kerry attack.
Adrian Spillane there with a high tackle that luckily he just pulled out of it enough, but the referee's bringing it back as he allowed the advantage, and it'll be a free to Dublin in the half-back line.
Now Dublin have also made a change at half-time. The very distinctive figure of Philly McMahon is in the Dublin backline, came in just before half-time, and he's there now in place of the black-carded John Small, as the referee has called Adrian Spillane from Temple No in for that loose challenge. We've already had 2 black cards, and Adrian Spillane goes in the book for a yellow for that tackle.
Yeah, correct decision. High tackle, he pulled out of it, luckily didn't do much damage.
So we're off and running again. Here's Philly McMahon. Loves to get forward, well able to kick a score, this time involved with Kilkenny. Lovely pop pass, and that is swept up and over the bar by Paddy Andrews. He's waited a while for his first score of the day, and now 5 of Dublin's starting forward line are on the score sheet.
Excellent 1-2 by Paddy Andrews there. Plays the initial pass and moves quickly across the goal, and an easy right-footed finish for a player of his quality.
That's a goal and 7 now from open play for Dublin. Ball knocked in by McCarthy. Cluxton, he's really in the mood today to come out and play. The Dublin goalkeeper off his line again very quickly.
Good communication, let his defenders know that he was coming, was decisive as he normally is, and deals with it effectively.
That ball arrowed into the path of Paddy Small. Referee playing an advantage as Cian O'Sullivan leaves his post as sweeper. Ball popped into the hands of Paddy Small, who curls it in on the breeze and over the bar. First for Paddy Small, a 10th for Dublin, and all of a sudden they've opened up a 5-point lead.
Yeah, the referee was allowing an advantage, and just as he'd taken his hand down, Paddy Small strike that ball with real confidence, never in doubt.
So once more, the ball back in Kerry's court. Gainey pops it out to Micheál Burns. He's a real speed merchant, and he's made a hash of that shot. He had options. There were a couple of players breaking inside, including David Clifford. Burns backs himself and got it all wrong as Cluxton again leaves it on a plate for Macaulay.
Outstanding stuff from Stephen Cluxton. Puts the ball on the tee, 3 steps back, and fires a rocket out to Macaulay under the Hogan stand. Brilliant goalkeeper. No one does it like he does.
Well, if he manages to keep a clean sheet today, Stephen Cluxton, it will be the 50th of his league career in 101 appearances. A remarkable record. He's already had to make a flying save to deny Kevin McCarthy. 1 or 2 other Kerry chances have gone a-begging as well. And you get the sense Kerry will need a goal here to really push Dublin to the pin of their collar.
Absolutely key period in this game for Kerry. Dublin, as they so often do, start the second half with real purpose, real pace, and Kerry just have to hang in there, claw back a couple of scores, and just not let Dublin get away from them.
Bruno Biaglia makes the break and keeps on going. A couple of Dublin defenders backed off, but eventually they got themselves sorted out. Johnny Cooper's hit late by Kevin McCarthy there. And the Dublin crowd and the Dublin players as well, they want action taken. Kevin McCarthy stopping Johnny Cooper in his tracks by fair means or foul. And the last thing Kerry need here is another card of any description. Well, the Hill aren't happy. A yellow for Kevin McCarthy, and he's probably fortunate enough.
I think so. Real frustration that caused it. Good run by Begley originally, but just couldn't find any support runners.
Great steal by Clifford. Rob Cooper. Here's a chance for Gainey. Great recovery by Cian O'Sullivan, who tracked him every step of the way and shepherded him out over the line. Well, he is so good at what he does, Cian O'Sullivan. He reads the danger so well. As we take another look at that frontal challenge by Kevin McCarthy that saw him end up in the book.
It's probably the right call in terms of a yellow card, but really, you know, well deserved his yellow card there, but at least there was no arms in it, there was no strike, but just born out of frustration.
Well, speaking of frustration, Stephen Cluxton there not one bit happy with his options outfield. His colleagues outfield felt there wasn't enough movement for that last kick out, and he let them know. Half an hour to play. Paddy Small spins away. Pascal demands it and gets it. Heading for goal in towards Kilkenny. Murphy with the save, and Kilkenny rolls it in. Kieran Kilkenny with his second goal of this league campaign. Pascal made the break. Kilkenny applied the finish eventually.
Just made it over. Kerry defenders unable to get it out. Good reaction by Kilkenny on the initial punch. He's quicker to the breaking ball, again, as he so often is, and scrambles it over the sideline, really. Initially that came from excellent play by two of the new players. Paddy Small and Baswell combined really well to create that opportunity.
And now the sound of the Dublin supporters up on Hill 16 comes rippling down onto the field. Kieran Kilkenny, who's been playing today like a man on a mission. 1-3 from play for him. David Clifford finding the going tough down at the other end. He has won a 45 here. The umpire felt it last touched the Dublin defender. Let's take another look.
I think maybe they feel that Cluxton was able to keep it in.
Look, I don't siren 45 from that angle.
I'm not sure. I felt it maybe back.
Well, in any event, Shane Murphy has come up from goal and drilled the 45 wide.
It takes a really peculiar bounce and comes back towards Cluxton. And either way, it's not important now.
Kerry needed that just to stop the rot as Dublin now start to move up through the gears. Good recovery there by Jack Barry to knock that ball away from Basquel. With Dublin now buoyed up by that goal from Kieran Kilkenny. They've tagged on 1-2 since half-time, and they have become, over the years, known for their big third quarter surges. It's when they go for broke, try to break team spirits, and all of a sudden it's double scores here at Croke Park.
Dublin capitalise on other teams' mistakes, and when those opportunities are there, they very often take them. Kerry in the first half had chances down in that goal and didn't take them. But if you're going to beat Dublin, you cannot afford those misses.
Clifford still showing. Lays it back to McCarthy. McCarthy runs into McCauley after playing the pass, and the referee gives the free to Dublin.
McCarthy tries to pull McCauley to the ground, and he's on a yellow. He's on a yellow, and very lucky not to get a black, and that would have been a man down. As he's trying to pull him down, McCauley loosens his hand from his grip, and it's definitely an attempted pull down. He just wasn't successful doing it.
And the downside of all of that from a Kerry perspective is the attack they were in the process of building has come to naught, and Dublin have the ball back. Paddy Small does well. Fenton, he's only lost one game in his league and championship career with Dublin, that against Kerry last year. Just keeping the ball moving, keeping that Kerry defence stretched. And Dublin right now have Kerry just where they want them.
That was a good example of the difference between the two teams. In the first half, Adrian Spillane had an opportunity there and took a wild shot, whereas Scully has the patience to...
A lovely sidestep. Howard, saved by Murphy. But we haven't seen much of Brian Howard in this game. He's been tracking runners and linking play, but for once there he found himself one-on-one with the Kerry goalkeeper, and Murphy did really well to make the save.
Good goalkeeping. Pushes it away from the oncoming Dublin forwards as well. Dublin totally dominant.
They're attacking now from left, right and centre. Here's the man of the moment, Kilkenny to Basquel, and he's content to pop it over the bar. That's his second of the day for the corner forward from Ballyboden.
Kilkenny unselfish again. Could have maybe got the ball, another goal. Howard turns inside really well. Bit too close to Murphy. Good turn inside with nice feet, probably nice height for Murphy, and he pushes it away strongly. Good save, but you'd be disappointed if he didn't make it.
Well, everybody knew in advance today was the day when these young Kerry players would have their mettle tested by the best of the best. A Dublin team who have beaten all before them again this spring, and they have come flying out of the blocks at the start of the second half. And right now looking very comfortable, 9 points in front and just toying with Kerry.
Well, you described the best of the best there, and Johnny Cooper was 10 yards in front of David Clifford, front foot defending at its highest quality, and Johnny Cooper's been excellent, and it's a real valuable lesson for Clifford.
Big gaps now starting to appear in front of that Kerry goal, and Rock almost knocking in a spectacular goal. Happened in pretty much slow motion. He had so much time on his hands, he decided to have a go and denied by the post.
I'm not sure he was going for the goal. It looked like he was trying to clip it over, miskicked it, and it spun towards the post, and Murphy had no chance if that was a couple inches inside.
Kerry trying to put something together themselves. Gainey kicks it right down the throat of Philly McMahon. Kerry very short of ideas since half-time up front, and now Dublin have acres of space to work with. Scully, he's got so many options. Burns, Scully again, and over it goes. 1-1 for Scully. Well, they were queuing up literally there, Dublin players coming from all angles, and the lead now is out to 10.
Again, inside, I think Dean Rock is definitely trying to clip that over the bar. He's the shape of his leg, he just slices it a little.
I'm not so sure,
Mike. You're not sure. You're giving him credit that he's trying to dink it into the corner. Well, we'll agree to disagree on this one.
Maybe we'll get a chance to ask him later, as Kerry feel the time is now to make a change. Fionn Fitzgerald brings experience and a bit of dynamism to their back line. He's in. But this blue wave now is sweeping time and time again down towards that Kerry goal. Macaulay. This is relentless from the All-Ireland champions. The shot from Andrews, and that's a second for him. Paddy Andrews from St. Bridget's. His eye is in now, and Kerry are hanging on for dear life.
Well, I'm not sure that they're hanging on. I think they've really hit the wall, to be honest, and they look like they're out on their feet in every position on the field. And Dublin are really... Jim Gavin said before the game that he wanted to set out a performance marker, but he wants to leave something in the mind of these young Kerry players at the level they have to get if they're going to even be able to compete with Dublin for 70 minutes. So I imagine that Dublin are going to try and drive this home for the full 70 plus minutes.
1-5 without reply now for Dublin since half-time. Éanna O'Crohor, the Kerry substitute, is being spoken to by the referee. And they're really struggling now, Kerry, to link with that forward line, losing all the individual battles up there. And no surprise to see David Moran has taken off his tracksuit, and he'll be thrown in with 20 minutes to go.
Damage limitations. He'll come in and hopefully be able to win a few balls around the middle of the field and try and stem the tide a little bit and take the bad look off the score. At present, 19 points to 8. It could get very ugly for Kerry if they don't start turning around quickly. Clash of heads there between
and
Paddy Small.
There are two Kerry defenders down injured right now, Jason Foley and Ronan Shanahan. Paddy Small is the Dublin player who will need attention as well.
Looked like an accidental clash of heads as they're just passing by each other, and hopefully they're both okay, but both medical teams take care with head injuries. I think the key difference in Kerry, particularly since the last 20 minutes, has been that all their attacks have been players going as individuals. No really combination play like we saw in the first 20 minutes. Yeah.
Nasty collision.
Nasty one, totally unintentional. Both players trying to move out of each other's way, and unfortunately they just clashed head. But look, hopefully they're both okay.
Well, a big issue for Eamon Fitzmaurice and Kerry recently have been the big scores they've been conceding. No clean sheets so far. 9 goals and counting during this campaign as Paddy Small leaves the field to be patched up. But that porous backline has really been exposed since half-time.
The big question for Kerry over the last couple of years is, have they had the athleticism to come to Croke Park and be able to run with Dublin? And today he went out with a very positive game plan, man on man for pretty much all over the field, pressed high up over the field, and you saw it work for 20 minutes. But at the minute it just looks like Kerry can't live with the athleticism of the Dublin team.
So Kieran Redden it is who's come in to replace Paddy Small.
as David Clifford tries to come up with something. He's got Johnny Cooper and Brian Fenton to contend with, and between the two of them they rob the ball back, and Dublin will saunter out of defence in their own time, at their own pace, and David Clifford cutting a fairly frustrated figure as he trots back out the field.
The admirable thing from him is that he's continuing to try, more so than many of the other Kerry forwards, but the take on just wasn't there. Too many Dublin defenders in that area.
Kieran Redden takes the direct route, breaks down to Pascal, who's eating a sandwich there between Jason Foley and Fionn Fitzgerald. And they've given away the free, but the Dublin threats are so varied. Kerry chasing shadows, just trying to keep Pascal and Andrews and company at bay, and that time Pascal it was who made a nuisance of himself, and Rock will have the shot at goal.
Pascal picked it up really sharply, and he knew he'd Dean Rock inside, just couldn't get the ball away, but Rock makes no mistake from the resultant free.
That's 4 points for Dean Rock. Normal service resumed for Jim Gavin, Jason Sherlock, Declan Darcy and Shane O'Hanlon, his selectors. Dublin's lead now standing at 12 points, and if it continues along this trend, their scoring difference will look very healthy this evening.
I was just thinking that Kerry's scoring difference. Kerry, as a result of this defeat, dragged into a relegation fight, and this could be really hurtful to them over the next 2 rounds if they can't, put a better gloss on this scoreboard.
They've got 20 minutes, give or take now, Kerry, to make some inroads into this deficit, as Jason Foley, an Irish under-19 60-metre hurdles champion, goes forward. He's got pace to burn. Michael Gainey quick off the mark as well, as is this man, Micheál Burns, knifes through, and that is Kerry's first point of the second half. It's taken them almost 20 minutes to come up with it, and it will go down against the name of Micheál Burns.
Gainey does the right thing, slips it to Burns, he travels with it, and a good right-footed shot.
Dublin had racked up 1-6 without reply during this third quarter, and it really is one of the outstanding features of this Dublin team, the way they come out after half-time and just move it up a notch.
Well, they're also intelligent. They recognise key stages in the game where they really have to lift it, and it's right throughout the field, whether it's Cluxton, Johnny Cooper, Michael Darmacaulay's intensity in the tackle has been fantastic, and then Kilkenny, Rock. They recognise when these key moments arise, and very often they're the ones that take them.
Fenton caught by Peter Crowley as he played that pass. Again, the Dublin crowd reacts. Referee lets the play continue. It will certainly be worth another look, whether it was accidental or deliberate, but Brian Fenton is still down as Dublin play keep ball.
Definitely contact was made as he's travelling across, and I thought it might have been Éanna Cahir, but Crowley was the man tracking him, so it was one of the two of those, and when the play isn't stopped, we might have another look at it at some stage, but it's not often you see Brian Fenton down.
Well, when you consider Dublin managed to score just 1-1 in the second half down in Castlebar against Mayo a couple of weeks ago, this has been a very different sort of second half performance. Dublin going for the jugular, trying to drive their advantage home and playing as much football as they can down in this Kerry half. Philly McMahon. Support arrives from Eric Lowndes. Brian Fenton up again and good to go. And Kerry just unable to get their hands on the ball.
Dig in. It's going to be frustrating the last couple of minutes for them, but they just have to hang on, try and defend well, try and learn from this experience. They can't afford to die and really give in, or that's something that Dublin will really capitalise. There's going to be other battles between Kerry and Dublin and Croke Park over the next couple of years. They've got to hang in here and show some resilience.
Well, it's at times like this you can't help but think Kerry started the day with just 5 of the team that lined out against Mayo in that All-Ireland semi-final replay last August. So many new faces, so many young players,
So much inexperience, and now it's starting to tell as Dublin eventually break the line. And Macaulay it is who injects some pace into the move. McMahon involved again. And all the while Kerry do their best to keep this Dublin machine at bay. McMahon. This is Macaulay who brings it into the tackle, stripped by Jack Barry. And eventually Kerry do manage to get it back, and David Moran finds Paul Murphy, two of the more experienced players in this Kerry team out there now.
Yeah, Eamon Fitzmaurice looking for building blocks for the future with a lot of these young players, and I think in Jack Barry he's got, you know, a key player to work with over the next couple of years. Really dynamic, he's powering up the field again. Excellent defensive discipline today and tracking a lot of runners, and a good turnover there recently.
Nice mazy run there by Ian O'Crohor, but the final shot is away to the right. Still just that one solitary point for Kerry in this second half. Let's take another look at that coming together, shall we say, of Crowley and Fenton.
Yeah, you're right, it was Peter Crowley, my mistake. As he's coming across there, he knows what he's doing. It's not a red card, it's probably a yellow card. It's late, it's a cheap shot really.
So Dublin deciding to take out Dean Rock, and Paddy Small comes back in after being patched up. That means Kieran Redden will stay out there as well. And Jim Gavin gets a chance to take a look at him. Here he is, right on cue. Well, Dublin away to Galway next Sunday. Kerry will welcome Kildare to Tralee next Saturday night. After this, just 2 more rounds to go in this Allianz League campaign. And still a fair bit to be sorted out both at the top and bottom of Division 1, as David Byrne picks out Small. Back to Andrews. Lovely score. 3 for Paddy Andrews. Target practice for Dublin. Lovely link play. But where was the pressure?
You said it, Mike. Way too much time there to a player of Paddy Andrews' quality, willing to take it on his weaker left foot, and it looked on today's evidence he's a player that's coming back to some of his best form.
Before this game, the odds makers expecting Dublin to win by at least 3 points. They have exceeded expectations, and still 11 minutes of normal time to play. Possession given away very cheaply by Fionn Fitzgerald. Kerry really now are in all sorts of trouble.
They've taken in water in every position, really struggling physically, and in these passages of play where Dublin are willing to go from left to right and retain possession, Kerry just don't have the energy to come out and press Dublin and try and look for that turnover.
Kieran Redden met by Ronan Shanahan, and Dublin have got a free in. Well, we saw them 2 weeks ago against Mayo backing off almost in the second half, just the 1-1. But Jim Gavin has obviously given them very different instructions, Billy Joe, this evening.
Well, they have the security of knowing they're playing in Croke Park, and there's no better team playing in Croke Park in terms of they're built for it. They can run and they're athletic. It's a bit different to McHale Park. But I think the fact that this is Kerry, this is a new, young, up-and-coming team. One of the biggest areas you have to improve on as a young player making that transition from underage football to senior football is just the athleticism and the physicality. And it looks like many of the Kerry players are struggling with the fitness levels you require to be able to play here, and Jim Gavin knows that. He's targeting that, and that's why he wants to really drive it home, make it as difficult as possible for these young Kerry players.
No doubt as well, Dublin stung by that league final defeat to Kerry last spring. It's the only blot in their copybook when you consider the only defeat they've had was that one in their last 46 league and championship games. And certainly at times today this has felt like a real personal statement being made by the All-Ireland champions, putting Kerry to the sword ruthlessly, as down at the other end Michael Gainey, the half-time substitute, pulls one back. Much too little, much too late. But
the Kerry supporters who have made the long trip to Dublin applauded nonetheless.
Rare hesitation in the Dublin defence. No one comes out to track him. He takes his time on his left foot and makes absolutely sure of it.
Brian Fenton there to back up Cian O'Sullivan, who's injured himself there as he collided with a Kerry player on his way out. Game continues in the background. Kieran Kilkenny, he's had his jersey tugged. Dublin have a free, and the game will be paused here as Cian O'Sullivan receives attention. His first start of the year today, Billy Joe, and he's just slotted in seamlessly after a few awkward and anxious moments early on.
That's right. He had some difficulties early on. He's unaware that Obeglia is there as he takes that solo, and falls awkwardly, and it looks like it's an arm or shoulder injury, and sometimes those innocuous falls can do some damage, and it looks like he's going to have to be replaced. But O'Sullivan, after a tricky first spell where he found himself in one-on-one man marking job, this second half much more comfortable there in that sweeping, hoovering up a lot of loose balls around that half-back line. A job he does better probably than anyone.
Jim Gavin getting ready to make a change. Andrew McGowan from Kilmacud Crokes will be coming in any moment now. Jim Gavin remarking before the game rather, 11 weeks until Dublin begin their Leinster Championship campaign, and they really have sent out a very loud and clear message today.
They sure have, and McGowan will come in there and slot into that half-back line and look to get himself involved. Dublin, Leinster, the rest of Leinster is running scared, no doubt about that. It's going to be very difficult for any team to stand up to them, particularly in Leinster. And this isn't a good sign, really. It looks like arm is pulled there, and it looks as fallen as he looks to be reaching for his right arm, and that was the arm that was being pulled as part of the tackle. Sometimes an innocuous fall like that can result in a shoulder dislocation or elbow injury.
Well, meanwhile, Kerry have made another change. Lahi Casey there from Dr. Crokes is in to replace his clubmate Micheál Burns for the last few minutes. Cian O'Sullivan is going to leave the field, and this will be a real concern for Dublin. His right arm there in a makeshift sling, and we can only hope it's not as serious as it looks.
Yeah, it looks like a dislocation or a collarbone. And again, it was just a slight pullback on that right arm as he was coming out with the ball. And as I said, sometimes they look totally innocuous and a lot of damage can be done. Dublin will be hoping, particularly with the loss of Bernard Brogan, they'll be hoping that he can get back on the field as soon as possible to add that valuable experience.
Jack McCaffrey, of course, still out as well. Cian O'Sullivan, the man who calls the shots in that defence. And we will be awaiting news of that injury after the game has ended. So Andrew McGowan from Kilmacud Crokes makes his Allianz League debut today, in for the last 5-6 minutes. Dublin, who led at half-time by 3 points, they've pushed the lead out to 11, and you get the sense they're not finished yet. Lowndes stopped in his tracks emphatically there by Peter Crowley. If it moves, Crowley will have a go, and the Kerry number 6 gives away the free.
He stands up to it, puts his chest into the tackle, nothing wrong with that. Lowndes actually does well after he initially hits the ground, gets to his feet quickly and forces Crowley into a situation where he only gave the free away. Good play by both players.
Dublin content to go back into their own half there initially, and again to hold on to the ball, draw Kerry out and just frustrate them a little bit more.
I think that Kerry supporters will be watching this and wondering, okay, what can Dublin do, or what can Kerry do in the future when they play Dublin? And I think Fitzmarsal have learned from today that this Kerry team isn't ready to go toe-to-toe over 70-75 minutes with this Dublin team.
Well, Kerry found out against both Galway and Monaghan that 14 points wasn't enough to get wins on those days. They've hit just a paltry 10 so far this evening. They've had issues at both ends of the field, no such problems for Dublin. Kieran Redden dances through, just unable to finish. It lacked the power and Kerry will start all over again.
I think the goal chances in the first half have demoralised Kerry, really. If they'd have taken those, if they'd gone in at half-time maybe ahead, or at least with parity, they might have been able to come out in the second half and survive for a bit longer.
Looked there like Kerry had found a way through, but they've been pulled back for an illegal hand pass, I think.
I think that's a bad decision. I think that's the second one the referee's got wrong in terms of a pass. He was harsh on Crowley early on that cost Kerry a point, but that looked like a clean strike in action. Bad decision. Just
pretty much sums up Kerry's day. Anything that could go wrong in this second half has gone wrong. And as Billy Joe said, those first half goal chances for Kevin McCarthy, Paul Ganey, Sean O'Shea really have proved so costly as Macaulay relishes the contact, takes the hit, back to McMahon, and over it goes. Dublin mixing it any way Kerry wanted. Macaulay and McMahon in the thick of it, and the lead is out to 12.
Macaulay has been, good this league campaign and just recycling, retaining possession. There you see the qualities he has. Driving forward, holds on the ball, excellent strength, passes it off for an easy score.
So a double substitution by Dublin. Brian Fenton and Kieran Kilkenny taken out. They'll be wrapped up in cotton wool ahead of the trip to Pearse Stadium next Sunday to take on Galway. And it's Emmett O'Keneela and Cormac Costello who's making his first appearance of this league campaign, who are in for the last few minutes.
When you consider the injuries that Dublin have as well, and then you can bring on a player like Costello, you know the quality he has, at this late stage, just goes to show their strength and depth right through the squad.
Bruno Biaglia scrambling through. Clifford sticks it in the net. Referee had already blown the whistle, though it's not going to count. Billy Joe, who's your man of the match?
Well, there's been a couple of really good performances from Dublin. Johnny Cooper's been excellent, but I think right the way through the full 70 minutes, and particularly in that first half, Kieran Kilkenny has been outstanding. He's shown his versatility. We're used to seeing him as a playmaker playing on at 11. He started the game in the full forward line, gave tall Murphy a torrid time throughout. Got the key goal in that second half that really killed the game, and a couple of scores and assists in the first half. Wonderful play from Kilkenny.
So Kieran Kilkenny, who scored the third goal of his Dublin career this evening, is Billy Joe Padden's Allianz man of the match. 1-3 from play for him. David Clifford, meanwhile, has tagged on that free for Kerry. 3 points for them in this second half. A goal and 8 for Dublin. And this game decided long before the end. Looked at half-time like it was perfectly set up, but it really ran away from Kerry in this second period.
I think the evidence from today is that really, with how strong Dublin are in the second half, with the strength and depth they have on the bench, that they're only going to be bringing fresh legs with huge quality. You really need to be ahead at half-time going into these games against Dublin. So 3 points down, while Kerry had played really well, those missed opportunities really cost them.
Andrew McGowan lays it off, and Cormac Costello crowns his return to the Dublin team with another trademark score. So dangerous, so pacey. Once again, though, there were so many options for Andrew McGowan, and Costello it was who applied the finish.
Yeah, again, just strides onto it, using that pace, driving at the goals, and controls the shot really well off his left foot.
Well, the bad news from a Kerry perspective is that we'll have at least 5 minutes of additional time. Plenty of time for Dublin to do more damage.
There is, and it's just a case of Kerry need to hold on, get their hands on the ball, move it. Dave Moran adjudged to foul by O'Keneela.
David Moran, his reappearance in the Kerry colours this evening. That will be a positive piece of news for Kerry supporters, seeing him back in action. very little positive news besides for them. But for Dublin, it's just this relentless march. 11 games now unbeaten since losing that league final last spring. And they show no signs of stopping anytime soon.
And the thing that's probably most impressive for me is that you see the team evolve from year to year. Maybe at the start of this great All-Ireland run, it looks like O'Begley has pulled down Cormac Costello there. And O'Begley and Shanahan have probably been, you know, some of the Kerry defenders that have been most proactive. They've tried to get on the ball, tried to force the issue, tried to get forward, but he's penalised there for a pull on Costello. But getting back to that point on Dublin, their team evolution has been such that maybe at the start of this run it was Bernard Brogan and Michael Dar McCauley and Cian O'Sullivan, whereas now the people that are driving this team forward is, you know, it's Johnny Cooper, it's Kieran Kilkenny, Brian Fenton. Terribly impressive the way new players stand up and lead this team.
Paddy Andrews manages to link with O'Keneela. And now Niall Scully, man who scored Dublin's goal before half-time. Well, they continue to raise the bar, they continue to set the pace. Next Sunday, it will be Galway's turn to have a cut at the All-Ireland champions. And it will be fascinating, Billy Joe, to see how they fare out.
Well, I think the difference with Galway is Galway are not going to go and try and press Dublin high up the field. No matter what, Galway will not be worried about not having possession. They will try and sit back, and like they did against Kerry and Mayo in particular, and play that counter-attacking game, and they've proved themselves to be excellent at it. So I really expect it to be a much closer game.
Every Dublin pass being cheered. Redden denied by the post, with Shane Murphy beaten. Well, it's champagne football from Dublin. And as they toss that ball around, their supporters cheering every pass to the rafters, and Kieran Redden almost in for goal number 3.
Yeah, and this is really going to hurt Kerry, because as you described it, it is champagne football. You know, Brian Howard jinking and turning in the middle of the field, recycling it again. Redden extremely unlucky there, did all the right things, kept the ball low, put it across the keeper, and it just was a couple of inches too far out, and instead of bouncing in off the post, came back out.
And just listen to the sound now up on Hill 16. They are enjoying this. Their great rivals Kerry being put to the sword mercilessly here. Jack Barry playing for pride. Johnny Cooper standing in his way. And all those 50-50 calls, all those decisions going Dublin's way. And it is one of those days that Kerry will want to forget about as quickly as they can.
Yeah, it's definitely going to hurt. There's no doubt about that. Many of these young Kerry players are only used to winning. Never mind getting beaten like this, 23 points to 11. It's a huge margin, and something they wouldn't have expected coming into this game. It's a game we all targeted. We were really looking forward to see it. But in the second half, it's been a terrible mismatch, and in many ways, it has looked like men against boys. And to an extent it is. A lot of these Kerry players have a lot of developing to do physically, and they're going to get bigger and stronger. They're going to get faster. Endurance is going to come on for them. But you just wonder, how long is that going to take?
Well, David Clifford is down a good 50-60 yards away. In any event, the referee blows the full-time whistle. David Clifford, we can only hope, and Eamon Fitzmaurice will only hope, isn't seriously injured, as Jim Gavin offers his commiserations to the Kerry manager. Dublin, who have been too good for Kildare, Tyrone, Donegal and Mayo, now add Kerry to that list. It's another win for Dublin, win number 5. Onwards and upwards for them.
Sure is. Only positive for Kerry, really. It looks like David Clifford's injury is only a muscle injury. He's getting treated for cramp, it appears, out there. But Dublin, it's all positive. As I said earlier in the broadcast, Jim Gavin said he wanted a performance to note. He surely got that, no doubt about it. They were really good after a slow start in the first 50 minutes. But they've been excellent so far throughout the game, and he'll be really pleased with that.
So it's a win for Dublin. We'll be back shortly to discuss it.
I'm Micheál Lummer.